Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're going to be looking at a relatively new product and one that is so good that I think it's not being talked about enough, and that is Screen Test by Judah Gabriel and Penguin Magic. I think this is a phenomenal release and one that is so good and so fooling and so clean in its operation that I think a lot of people are missing out on not having it, especially for the price. So let's talk about more about Screen Test right after the intro. Perfect, so you decided to stick around, which means you want to see more about Screen Test. So what is Screen Test? Screen Test is essentially a book test slash movie reveal in a very interesting way. So I can't really perform this for you because I'd need a spectator, I'd need two phones, and because of that I can't really perform it here, but I will tell you exactly what it is and how it would look in performance. So essentially, you would introduce, the way that I do it is I perform movie nights, which is the product that I reviewed previously, as a lead-in into this effect. So the theme of movies is already there. But let's say you don't have that. You would essentially just ask your spectators if they like movies, if they're a movie buff, you can talk about them about that. You ask them if they know some review sites like Letterboxd, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, Google Critic. Do they know any of them? They'll say yes. We say perfect. So what we're gonna do is I want you to think of a movie, but don't say it out loud. Just think of a movie, okay? And don't make it something super obscure that no one would ever know, but make it something, also don't make it like something super big that everyone knows and that it's like the movie playing at the cinema across the road and it's plastered everywhere on the walls, you know? So make it just a movie that you like. They're gonna do that. You say, perfect. So what I'm gonna do is, you use Google Critic, right? Oh, yes or no, blah, blah, blah. You say, so go on Google Critic, because Google Critic is essentially showing you the place with the most activity around the movie that you're thinking of when you search it. So what I mean by that is go on in. So they'll go on their phone. You don't touch it. You don't type in anything. You don't go near their phone. They can be like standing across the room when you do this. So they go on Google Critic, say, excellent. So what I want you to do is I want you to search on your, search the movie. So keep it towards yourself. And then I don't even want you to tell me, but it's either going to open a Letterboxd page, an IMDb page, a Rotten Tomatoes page, or I don't even know what it could open, but you're essentially on the page with your movie and some reviews, correct? Because that's what Google Critic does. You are. Perfect. So what we're going to start off with doing is I want you to go and find anyone a review that speaks to you and settle on it. Do you have one? Excellent. Now what I want you to do is don't look at the title, because the titles are usually obvious. I want you to focus on the main text of the review. Can you do that? Think of the first word. Now, if the first word is in, at, like if, and, what, why, or any of that, don't go for it. Go for the next word. So make it like, go for the next long word or for the next actually true word. If it's the third or the fourth word, you can go for those, but go for the next interesting word. You have it? Excellent. Now you would remove your phone and you would go on a doodle page online to say, look, what I'm going to do, think of your first letter, you do your mentalism presentation, and you'll be able to get the word that they're just thinking of on the reviews. They say, perfect. So now I'm starting to get the way that you think, you can erase it. So then you tell them, just so I know whether this is a bit more obscure or a bit more mainstream, how many reviews does your movie actually have? So what's the number of reviews? So they're going to tell you. And after that, you'll say, okay, now I want you to actually focus on the poster of this movie, and then you'll be able to fully do a draw duplication of their poster and reveal the name or information about the movie. Whatever you want, you'll be able to do that as well. You can reveal the director, you can reveal the date, you can reveal, of course, the poster by you drawing it, you can reveal the synopsis of the movie, a ton of stuff regarding that. So it's fantastic. That's the routine, and that's how clean it as it is you never touch their phone, you never go near their phone, you never type anything, you never NFC anything, nothing like that. It's fantastic in its operation and in the thinking behind it. So let's unpack now where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this from penguinmagic.com. It's the only place that it is available. It's going to set you back $19.99. It is very cheap. Now keep in mind, it's $19.99 per year. But personally, this is such a good effect that 20 USD, which cost me around 26 Canadian, that's actually not that bad for like an entire year of performance. just the amount of times I used it in my last gig, I probably made 2 times the money of the effect that I paid for the entire year in one gig. So it's relatively cheap in price for what you're getting, especially because it's a full year. And if after a year you don't want to use it anymore, but you want to use it again after a year after, you can resubscribe. So it's very fun that you don't have to pay, for example, like $200 up front for the app, that you can pay per year. I actually really, really love that idea. So I hope that more apps do that in the future. I think it's fantastic as a concept, personally. So it's 26 Canadian or 20 USD for a year of performing this effect. And you're also going to get a tutorial. The tutorial is around an hour or so long. It's going to explain to you, first of all, how this works, how it's set up, what you have to learn to remember. And then he's going to teach you the main routine, which is the one that I explained to you. But after that, he's also going to teach you a ton of other stuff that you could do. He's going to teach you how to force a movie, how to peak a movie, how to do so many more things than just the main routine. But personally, for me, the main routine is so good, I wouldn't want to do any of the rest. But if you want, it's there for you. He explains to you in the tutorial. It's a brilliant tutorial. It's fantastic. He's a really good teacher. And you comprehend everything that you need to know about the effect. Now let's talk about difficulties. How difficult is this to perform? It is incredibly simple to perform. There's no memory work. There's no NFC tags. There's no, links that you have to remember to put on a spectator's phone. There's no ID that you have to remember. And it's not like when they go on Google Critics, say, oh, look, I want to show you this. And then you have to type in your name with a few numbers. There's nothing like that. You never touch their phone. So it's super, super easy to perform. The only thing that's hard is if you suck at art, like myself, and you suck at drawing, when you reveal the poster, it's not going to look very good because you suck at art like I do. So, but to be honest, it raises some laughs and people usually get the idea. They're like, oh my God. And you get some comments, but you also get all of the information and the name. So if you don't want to, do the arts part where you draw the poster, because you actually draw it. It's not like it's automated or that it creates a fake duplication of a drawing. You actually draw the poster yourself. So because of that, what I also like is the possibility of when you're doing the effect is asking someone does this mean something to you? And they can see you drawing it and they can see your screen for most of the routine. Even for the word, the way that I like to do it is you say, look, think of the first word. And then you say, boom. You say, what was it? They tell you the first letter, whatever. Say, okay. You see, so we know this is the first letter, but I immediately know from this that this is next. And the spectator is seeing you reveal everything, so they can confirm you did nothing fishy. So if you have multiple spectators, that's the way that I do it. So difficulty-wise, it is so easy that you can actually do it with spectators burning you. I invite spectators to burn me when I do the effect, which is even more fun. There's only one part where they can't look at what you're doing. But except for that, it's very easy to do. There's, as I said, no memory work, no fishing around with the spectator's phone, redirecting them to, weird stuff. So it's very, very easy to perform. Second of all, what about practicality? So what do you need to perform this? You need nothing. You just need your phone. So as long as you have your phone with internet, you will require internet connection, and so does your spectator. So both of you need to have a stable internet connection in order to perform the effect. So as long as you have your phone and your internet, you are good to go. That's all you need. You don't need a pen, a pad, an NFC sticker, nothing like that. You're good to go. You don't even need an app. As long as you have internet working on your phone, you're good to go. Afterwards, so what is the reset? The reset is instant. How is the repeatability? You can immediately repeat it again if you so want. It can be done, or you can do another effect with, because anyway, the spectator are going to be on the page that you want them to be, so you can easily repeat it again with another effect that is taught on the tutorial, but it is repeatable if you so want. So if someone else says, oh, I want to try, you can immediately do it with someone else. In terms of inspectability, there's nothing really that they should be inspecting on their phone. It is pretty clean in that regard as well. And table, you do not need a table to perform this either. So practicality, pretty good. In terms of where to perform, anywhere. You can perform this cross country. The person can be in another country and you can perform this to them over Zoom if you want. It will work. So you can do this on Zoom. You can do this live, so close up. You can do this standing up, cabaret. You can do this stage. You can do this parlor. You can do table hopping, restaurants. Wherever your heart wants you to do this effect, you can perform it. So now let's talk about the positives and negatives. So let's talk about the negatives. One of the negatives is that if you perform this to someone that's a big movie buff, a movie that they consider not very obscure could possibly be very obscure. So I had someone raise a doubt because they thought of a movie that came out recently that they saw and that they believed is relatively well known. So that's the movie that they thought about. It still worked, but when I asked them how many reviews does the movie have, and they looked, they were like, whoa, that's a lot of reviews. I didn't even know that this many people saw this movie. Because it was like 1 million or something. And it was an indie movie that has like 30,000 reviews across all apps. And on the effect, it said it had over 1 million. So they were like, oh. So just immediately they were a bit bemused by that. So make sure to really be firm when you talk with a person, to be like, don't go for like a super obscure indie movie or anything like that. Because if not, that could raise a suspicion. That's the only part that could raise a suspicion that you have to be careful about. Because sometimes the number is going to be very big and you don't want, for example, them thinking of the movie like they thought of, which was a very indie niche film that I bet you probably no one else at the event saw. And they were like, oh, 1 million reviews for this movie. That's a lot. I didn't expect it to be that popular, and something rang in their head. So make sure to deal with that. That's the only thing that could raise alarms to your spectator, okay? But apart from that, there's no other negatives that I can say about the effect. Let's move on now into the positives. One, it's super cheap. It's extremely well made. You don't ever touch your spectator's phone. Easy to do, practical. You can do it pretty much anywhere. It's direct. There's multiple routines. There's multiple phases in the routine. You're doing a book test. Then you're doing a drawing duplication. There's so many things that you're going to be doing here. It's fantastic. So overall, would I recommend this and what do I give it on 10? I fully recommend this with all my heart. I think it's fantastic. And I think that for the price, it is a no-brainer. For a year, even if you want to test it out, $20 for something this good that you're probably going to be doing all the time is just phenomenal, and it's so good. So I heavily recommend it. That said, what do I give it out of 10? I'm giving Screen Test by Judah Gabriel just because of the numbers thing. It's not a perfect effect, but it is as close as it can get. So it's getting a 9.75 on 10. And that's all I have to say about Screen Test. If you have any additional questions, leave them down below. If not, I'll see you all in my next reviews. Have a good one, and bye-bye.